Hi guys, how are you doing? This is Silva, and it's almost midnight over here in Connecticut. And I'm inspired to share some information with you that has been pressing for a while, and I've been preparing for it. So let's see what's going to happen. It is sharing some information that Dr. Joe Dispenza is relaying to us during one of his sessions that I attended virtually. I was fascinated by the way he was explaining the mind and body connection, the mind and a body connection, and how we work out there in the quantum field. So many years ago, I have heard about quantum physics, but I never looked into it. As a matter of fact, I never even understood. I probably had a block about it. I for sure have not been ready for it. And also, back then in the age, it was condemned as something that is more like mystification, and people were not talking about it openly. This is what I remember from my standpoint. Interestingly enough, Dr. Joe Dispenza is, as a matter of fact, my age. We were born exactly the same year, and I just found out about it today because I looked him up. Because I know about him, I connect to what he's talking about, but I didn't know details about him. And I know that he had overcome trauma, and this is how he, as a matter of fact, advanced into the field that he is an expert right now. His postgraduate education has been in neurology, neuroscience, brain function and chemistry, cellular biology, memory formation, and aging and longevity. So according to me, he is a genius. I do believe that he is a genius. As a matter of fact, when he started his workshop, he was asking each and everyone in the room to introduce themselves to the next person as a genius, being a genius. So everyone laughed about that. So I'm going to share a few thoughts about what I learned during following this workshop. I also would like to share with you that I am reading this book now, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, also by Dr. Joe Dispenza. So you can look him up and you can look into his study more closely. Again, what the point that I will try to make is how important it is to meditate. I am so surprised lately, and I mean all the time, that I am talking to people that are close to me, like really, really close to me, people that I care about, people that I see they are struggling with one thing or another challenge in their lives. And they refuse literally to talk about meditation or even to give it a try, to give it a shot. So what he starts with during his workshop is speaking about removing, actually the need of removing the constant stimulation in your external environment, which is constantly reminding you of who you think you are as a personality. Who you think you are as a personality, not who you are. Because as a matter of fact, the external environment does not define you as to who you are. And he's also putting the stress upon the fact that we need to separate from the people we know and the places we go every single day. We just need to detach if we would like to experience any changes in our life, and if we would like to make any progress and become better in what we do and who we are. So there are many neurological studies of the brain circuits, and it is proven fact that while we are experiencing feelings and emotions, this produces chemicals to be released from the brain into our body. And when we step into the unknown, as a matter of fact, because this is what we are doing while we are meditating on a regular basis, not once or two or three times. And when we begin to tell ourselves that we are happy and we live in abundance, now we become to teach our body chemically to understand what our mind has already understood. This is super important. If you can just see through what I just said, you're going to feel amazing, and you are going to be on the way of changing yourself, if you would like, of course. So once you start doing this, you are signaling new genes and new waves and new ways in the way you are thinking and doing. And in other words, you are rewriting your biological program. And when you begin to repeat many times the same thing over and over and over again, you tell your body how to react. Neurochemically condition your body and mind to work as one. And as he's saying, knowledge is for the mind, experience is for the body. So the whole purpose of this is to make your body and mind start working as one. Now we become familiar, and it is now becoming who you are as a subconscious one, not just outside of it. So you're actually transitioning from mind to body to soul. And then once we start experiencing this, we can do it all on our own. Unfortunately, we wait for the trauma, the tragedy to happen in our life in order to decide to change. And this is so totally true, because as a matter of fact, I can attest for this. I personally dream of being one who will be in his audience one day in person, because my life, all that I went through, can attest that whatever he's teaching is absolutely true. And this is what happened to me. I had to go through all these experiences of failing and failing and failing myself all over again until I actually got sick. I got ill. I got diagnosed with the worst diagnosis that you can get. And then once I survived and went through all this, and now I'm cured, all of a sudden I understood that there were things that I haven't been doing right. So this is when I decided that I would like to change, because it is a decision. It is a matter of taking a decision, making a decision to change. And when we start doing the work and we start seeing the results that we can really change, then he's saying it means one thing, that in order for this that we're creating now to happen, it means that we believed that we can make the change. So this is so interesting, because I would like to mention here that I recently spoke with someone about that sometimes we need to, as a matter of fact, believe in something in order to be able to see it. It's not the vice versa. You don't have to see something to believe it. You have to believe it, and then you are going to see it. I know it is very challenging, and it is not easy to comprehend, but little by little, if you make the decision, you can advance. So all this means that at some point, we are actually more excited telling the story about our future rather than telling the story about our past. And this is where I need to mention that thoughts have energy and frequencies, and they have effect on our body. And if we think the same thoughts all over and over again, we emit the same energy in the field and keep creating the same results. So picture it. Thoughts lead to the same choices. They create the same behaviors. They produce the same experiences They lead to the same feelings and emotions, which produce the same thoughts. And our biology, neurocircuitry, neurochemistry, and hormones, and even our genetic expression, they're equal to how we think, act, and how we feel. So how we think and act and feel is, as a matter of fact, defining our personality. And our personality creates our personal reality. So if we want to create new personal reality and new life, we have to change our personality, is what he's saying. And we need to start thinking of what we have been thinking about, which, as a matter of fact, I did, and acknowledge our unconscious thoughts and behavior and start working on modifying them and change what we say and how we talk. And look at the emotions which keep us connected to the past, because emotions are product of past experiences. And we have to decide if they belong to our future. If we want to be wealthy, for example, we cannot think lack or unworthiness. And he's saying wealthy people will never feel that way. And this is true. So we literally have to become someone else. And I literally have to tell you, I believe I have become someone else compared to what I was before I got diagnosed. And I have to tell you, I would like to admit, before I got diagnosed, I didn't think that there was anything wrong with me. However, I realized that sometimes consciously, sometimes subconsciously, I was blaming my past for everything that was happening to me back then in the present. I was blaming everything that was happening in the past to me to actually have caused what I have been experiencing. And this is totally wrong for myself. I'm telling you, it is totally wrong. If you believe that this is normal, to me, right now, revising all this situation that happened to me in my life, this was wrong. So the first step he's saying, to become conscious of your unconscious thoughts. This is the first step. And then, because we have been wired and rewired for however many years we have been on this planet, until our actions and behaviors have become memorized and conditioned and programmed. So to me, it is obvious that in order for something to change, we need to take a step into changing ourselves. We cannot expect otherwise results in different direction. So we become the consciousness of who we are. And then this is amazing. We are no longer the program. We are now the observer. You distance yourself from everything and you start to observe. And therefore, we're taking from there control over the situation because we're allowing ourselves to do so. So then Dr. Dispenza is suggesting that we discuss the word meditation for a moment. So the word meditation, he's saying, it means to become familiar with. So in this case, when we become conscious of the negative thoughts we have been using, we begin to avoid them. Then we stop blaming, complaining, or making excuses for ourselves. And we stop judging other people for what is happening to us. And when we become familiar with this situation, how we have been feeling all these years, it becomes most likely to avoid the energy of taking ourselves to these levels. And on the contrary, when we decide what thoughts will be the thoughts we need to have in order to experience the new feelings we desire to feel, then we begin to wire and rewire new circuits in our brain. and reprogramming our thinking to think like a master, like a great person, as an unlimited person, and you rehearse who you are going to be when you open your eyes. When you're truly present, your brain does not know the difference between the person before and the person after. And then you all of a sudden you are priming your brain to become, instead of a record of your past, a map of your future. So can we teach our body, he's asking, emotionally to feel as if the future has already happened? And this is where we hit the challenge. Most of us wait for the wealth to arrive in order to feel worthy. Wait for success to feel empowered. Wait for the healing to feel gratitude and wholeness. Wait for the new relationship in order to feel loved. For the mystical moment in order to feel amazed. We are victims actually to our environment because we let everything around us to determine and define what is within us. And then he's asking, what happens if this does not happen? They start trying to make it happen, start trying to manipulate it, to fight it, to try to control it. But when you start feeling wholeness, worthy, abundant, empowered by a vision, and living in this day, when you're in love with yourself, you will begin to magnetize your vision. And synchronicity, he's saying, will start to happen. If an experience produces an emotion, and it is scientifically proven that you are signaling the gene to make new protein to prepare the body for this new experience, neurologically, chemically, hormonally, you are in alignment. And then all these coincidences are coming because you are no longer living in the known. And that's why whatever you are picturing and is happening to you, you feel like it is a coincidence. So if your brain is a record of the past, if you are not defined by the vision of the future, you will be predictable in your future. This is why it is so important how you feel and think in the morning to detach from your old self and to condition and connect to the emotions to drive your thoughts in the direction you want, so you are not creating more of the same life. Body, unconscious mind is feeling in the same past experience, gets the same information, which means you are signaling the same way, like anger, fear, pain, suffering, until all of a sudden you click. And then you begin to tell the story of your past, working it up emotionally. And he is saying, think about it. 50% of this may not even be true. Guys, we make up stuff with our mind. The more and more you repeat the same over and over again, and you twist it or tweak it every time, I mean, it becomes your truth, but it may be very, very far away from the truth. So you are still creating your past. So why not creating your future? That's very interesting. So we create our memories, he's saying, and then we believe in them. And then when we start talking to other people, we use each other to affirm this addiction over and over again. And how we think and feel creates the same state of being, and we are signaling the same gene, and it wears off the gene, and it actually wears off everything until you get unhealthy. So if your thoughts can get you sick, and your body weakens down and your immune system breaks down from this living in fear, anger, resentment every day, signaling, and then you meditate for 3 days and nothing happens. Isn't that funny? I mean, we expect really miracles to happen. No, it's work. It's work, and it's a lifestyle changing situation. You need to change your lifestyle. You need to change your thinking. You cannot be a victim for like 30 years or 30 days in a row, and then all of a sudden in 3 days in a row you expect to fix this. It's not how it works. So again, back to the fact that meditation is becoming familiar with. It means that we become familiar with our emotions for the future. We become to act as a wealthy and a happy person. And he's referring to the fact that some people had horrific past. And if we stay there, I also have some horrific moments in my past. You probably have too. I mean, probably everyone had. We are not diminishing this fact. But if you stay there, like if we choose to stay there and keep telling our story, how do you see it helping you get better? When you attract these same vibrations to you. When we feel emotional, we are back in the past. Okay? The moment you start feeling emotions, it means that you are back in the past. So we are electromagnetic beings, he is describing. And if we live in the same energy, our life will remain the same. There is nothing to act upon it in order to change. Fear, anger, resentment is living in survival. So if we have this vital energy around the body turning into chemistry, and when we see unpredictable threat and we mobilize for this danger, but when the event is over, we start to heal for a short term. But when what if if it's something or someone you perceive as your environment, and you turn this stress response and producing these stress chemicals to create disease, you become addicted to this rush of chemistry. You need to feel angry and lack and unworthy because it reaffirms the emotional state. And when you need to feel this, you recall a moment from the past and you begin to get angry for that event. You're preparing for survival. You turn this stress just by thought alone, and you can become addicted to your own thoughts, and you become addicted to the life you don't even like, he is saying. Wow. And your thoughts can make you sick. So it is possible that your thoughts can make you well. If your thoughts can make you sick, if your thoughts can make you sick, do you believe that it is possible your same thoughts, that they can make you well? Means that you need to start a process of no longer diminishing your life and creating chronic stress. And now you will stop narrowing your focus on objects and people, which is so dangerous. And now you will start to create and prepare instead of running and hiding and fighting. And instead of becoming a person to live in disbelief and give up on any possibility of change, you become materialist, using our senses to define reality. Because when you can't see, you don't believe. And then you become matter, trying to change matter. When you control and predict, each experience turns into experience, which turns into house divided against itself. Brain becomes incoherent, and it affects the heart, the center of oneness. It loses its energy. Emotions of resentment cause the heart be imbalanced. We stop trusting, we don't trust, and we run from the unknown. And you live separate in lack and empty. And I need that thing to make me feel better. And then it wears off. And then I need it again. And then I feel the emptiness again. And you start living a life of meaning to the end. And when you have everything, you are exhausted to enjoy it. So when you're not in the present, you're running a program. So don't take anything personally because the other person is running a program as well, and everything is so predictable. You have done it over and over again. So when you wake up, your body is dragging you in the same direction because you have done it so many times that you are just running on autopilot. So if you want to change, and you can by a thought alone, you need to become a thought alone. And close your eyes and disconnect from the environment. And you tell your body that you are no longer the mind. I am now the mind. And when you become aware of the present moment and take it out of the past, you will liberate energy from matter to energy. You will start feeling more joy. And you keep coming back to the present moment. And you understand where you place your energy and return the attention to the present. And you're returning to the unknown. And you need to put your attention to your inner world and overcome your body. And when you are in the present moment, there is no stress anymore. And this is anyone who can do this. Anyone can do it. It's just a matter of choice. It doesn't matter the age. It's regardless of age, regardless of condition, wealth, or social status. It's measured after meditation when you get beyond yourself. And this is here what he is describing. It is just so amazing. So I would like to share it with you. So when you take attention off your body, you become nobody. When you take attention off of all the people you need to take care of who created your identity, you become no one. And if you don't think about the things you own, then you become nothing. And then you stop thinking of the places you have to be. Then you become nowhere. Not thinking about the predictable future, you are in no time. You are no longer anything of what you think you are. You become nobody. So this is when you actually decide to get rid of the ego, by the way. And this is when you walk into the quantum field. They have measured this. Brain in survival, firing incoherently, more matter and less energy. And then all of a sudden they disconnect from the environment, working to trust the unknown. They, the people who are actually participating into this experiment, no longer think about the people, pain, and places and time. The brain waves change from high beta into alpha. And the inner world is more real than the outer world. And the brain changes. And you are connected to the system, which only wants one thing: to create, to synchronize. And you are now connected and you are now aligned, moving into a more holistic state. And that moment, you start feeling differently. This is the moment when you start feeling differently. And then you start reacting differently. As you no longer react to situation, you are more observant and slow down, and you feel more in control, and you feel like you have the power to make the right decisions. You are no longer attracted to the outcome of what you do for others, and you become more generous in your thoughts and feelings, and giving gratitude, and give to what the others deserve, not forcing and not predicting. You just put attention to the possibilities and you start following the unknown. You become connected to the unified quantum field that governs nature. You fall in love with yourself and you stop wanting. And this is when the magic happens. When you are connected in the unified field, the quantum field that governs all the laws of nature. And when that occurs, you feel so whole. You feel like you have everything. Biological, neurological, genetic upgrade in that person when you connect to the unified field. This is what you become. And you become, he says, from somebody to nobody to everybody, from someone to no one to everyone, from some time to no time to every time. This is what the quantum field is. Somewhere to nowhere to everywhere, from something to nothing to everything. And the thought you think is the electrical field in the quantum field. And how you feel is the magnetic charge. And the two is broadcasting information in the field. So if you are more matter than energy, you will take more time for the dreams to occur. Because matter try to change matter. And this is not actually how it works. You have to go there as consciousness, as an awareness. You are no longer saying, I need that. You say you already have it. From selfish, you go to selfless. Your heart opens up. The capacity to care, to nurture, to serve starts. And to survive is cooperating and not in separation. First is all about overcoming yourself. Energy affects matter. If you are in the field, you exert greater energy. If you are using your best friend to reaffirm your addiction to your suffering, and then you are no longer bound to it. And then all this resentment is not there anymore. And when you start overcoming yourself, then you start contributing. Heart becomes more coherent. It has been measured to be a fact. And then you become supernatural and you show your results supernatural. Because actually magnetic field is measurable. So all this is not mystery. It's not mystification. It's all proven fact. Energy and frequency change. Care, kindness, compassion raises. And you're laying the thought of the same intent of this energy. And then we become the natural human being that we need to be. More energy than matter. More wave than particle. The higher energy, the faster the frequency, more connected to the unified field. The faster the result in a shorter amount of time. The stress will make your brain worse into high beta. The brain does not change the brain. The ego does not change the ego. The matter does not change the matter. The personality does not change the personality. The pure consciousness does. All you need to put the attention and awareness where it needs to be. So when you connect to everything, everyone, everywhere, you no longer need to create. You just need to go and pick it. That's why, guys, it's getting easier and easier and easier. That's why the millionaires, as a matter of fact, are saying that the more you make, the less effort you exercise. It's just the beginning. It's just the first million is so hard to make. And then it gets really easy. So that's the analogy that I just made right now. So after the meditation, it is not likely you will say, oh, I'm going into quantum field, he says, and everybody laughed. You just develop a skill. This is a skill. Meditation is a skill, and you feel differently, and you tap into greater frequency, which is measurable. You can't make your brain do that. It is in deep delta, and it is just happening to you. The amplitudes of energy is registering as a snowstorm, and it is greater than the fear, the diagnosis, the trauma. It is energetic emotion. Gamma is super consciousness. So high super consciousness gamma is where you are. Switches to antioxidants for healing and other chemicals which make you go dimensional. So when things begin to happen, you are like came out of nowhere. Yes, because you produced it out of nowhere. This is the analogy that he's making. This is how he's explaining it. And the more you surrender and trust into the unknown, something appeared out of nothing. Yes, you created it out of nothing. It came in no time. Yes, because you created it in no time. It came out of nowhere. Yes, because you created it out of nowhere. It is presence that you need to pay attention to. The closer you get to it, it will appear in the shorter amount of time, and you become more willful, loving, intelligent, forgiving, conscious, more mindful. Your nervous system is the greatest pharmacist in the world, he says, as Dawson said. This is his quote. If you expect and predict, then is nothing new. If you can sustain, it is energy. Will come in a way that you least expect. That's why, guys and ladies, when you go and ask and pray for somebody to come in your life, he's not going to come in your life until you forget about this person and stop giving it such a great significance. And then this person will come out of the blue without you even expected it. That's how it works. And then you do it again, and then you know that you achieved it. And then we go from being a victim to being a creator. You overcome a little bit more, and you love yourself a little bit more. So I hope you liked this presentation. I really put my heart and soul in it, as you can tell, because this is supernatural to me. And I hope one day it will become natural to you. So this is your girl, Silva. And I hope I brought some value to you. I hope I entertained you. And if it's so, I will see you in my next video. But in order for me to get creative and think what will be next, although I already have an idea, click on the link below. Subscribe for my channel. Give me likes, give me comments. And you know what? Click on this link that I have posted underneath, because this is how my transformation started, with one simple meditation that I got from Wesley Virgin. Much love to you, Wesley. And Ariella did change my life. My whole transformation started from there. It started in March of this year. And I cannot thank enough I am so grateful for everything that I learned so far from them and from everybody else. It's just amazing, amazing experience. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. See you in my next video.